This is December 26, 2020, and we are doing Lucas's legacy initiation and finishing the steps to allowing him to buy the first attainment today. Uh, Go ahead and give a recap of where you stand. You there? You appear to be muted.
Oh, whoops, sorry. So last time we pursued this plotline, Lucas had managed to decipher an email from this forum he found connected to a leaderboard he found on the astral plane. And part of that email was a set of coordinates that he eventually found was out in the water somewhere. So he rented a little motorboat out to check it out, and after some investigation, found some sort of object or chamber deep underwater. And he tried to teleport in with his new space magic, but unfortunately that did not go so well because of dice rolls. So,
And he
he
got
decided,
very cold.
yeah, it was very cool. So he decided, fuck it, come back tomorrow fresh.
Okay, so broadly, how is Lucas planning to go about this? Like, what time? Like, with what equipment, I suppose?
Okay. So, right. He's basically trying to. Let's see here. So, yeah. Well, I can't do anything super fancy, really. So Lucas will probably just try the same thing he did the first time, but the key difference will be he'll go during daylight, so that he'll have a modicum of warmth.
Mm-hmm.
And also dress for the cold sea air, of course.
Okay. And any other preparations on a more material point? We can sort of hand wave you like getting cold weather equipment. That's not a
Yeah,
big
that's.
deal.
I mean, yeah, just throw a winter sweater on.
And what about any aquatic preparations?
Let's see here. I suppose in the case of an emergency scenario, he might want an oxygen tank and scuba mask, or maybe he's got no one to mind the boat up top, so I don't know. Scuba is such a good idea. Well, then again, he'd be teleporting down there anyways.
So, how are you planning to go about this? Like, what's your approach to get down to the metal cylinder?
Right. Well, I might have to pull a bit of a muggle technology and go scuba diving.
Okay.
If that's reasonable.
Yeah. Let me do. Lucas has some resource dots via his mentor, though he has been calling on them quite a bit, so there may be a favor coming in the near future.
Yeah.
So I'll say that 2 dots would be enough to hire a boat or to hire scuba equipment. But if you want both a boat and scuba equipment, then you'll need to take some other means to get them.
All right. All right then.
Such as, I don't know, stealing or
Right. Shenanigans. I don't think I need the bad karma just yet. I guess we'll just have to try the same way as before, with just the boat.
Okay. And so he's gonna try to dive down or co-locate down again, or
Yeah,
what's the
co-locate
approach?
down. I can't turn myself into a fish, unfortunately.
No, not with those arcana. Though you
No.
could turn yourself into a dreamfish.
uh, Played around in my head with the idea of shaving the ephemera of the astral form, but that's not relevant.
Okay, cool. So we will. You said you're going to the daytime, so we'll say that probably like very early afternoon, probably just after lunch, around 1 p.m. You set off in your little dinghy off to the coordinates again.
Mhm.
The wind is fairly high. It's quite overcast, and it's a bit chilly. In terms of actual mechanics, I will say that it is. Where is this? Extreme environments. Yeah, this is a extreme environment one, or level one. So it's very cold out, but with your equipment, I'll say that it will sort of reduce the while characters exposed to a harsh environment. Um, yeah, I'll say that you're able to like stay out here for twice as long before suffering any sort of environmental tilt due to your heavy weather equipment or due to your cold weather equipment. And you
All
jet
right,
out
yeah.
across the sort of choppy waters. Other commercial craft you can see off in the distance, out heading towards their normal fishing grounds, off towards the bay. But you don't see any other craft, pleasure or otherwise, hanging
Hmm.
around near the area that you are navigating your boat to. You make it over to the GPS coordinates by guidance of your technology, probably,
Hmm.
without too much undue effort. Looking
Yep.
down, you see the sort of steely surface of the water below you, choppy with the wind breaking its surface.
All right, yeah. Drop anchor, and let's go with the outward and inward eye.
Um, yeah, sure. Go ahead and cast.
All right.
I'll say that, I mean, so this kind of boat, like this dinghy, doesn't really have. I mean, I guess it could have like a big sandbag or something that you drop down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna stress about that too much.
Yeah. All right. Pardon me while I set this up on the spell helper thing. Do. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Paradox. So here we go. And canting high speech. Here we go.
Okay. So one scene slash hour self. Cool. And you get the spell off with a single success.
Mm-hmm.
All you need. Um, Lucas. So how does outward and inward eye manifest for Lucas? So the description of the spell is that sort of everything around you sort of presses itself almost as if it's in a flat plane, allowing you to see from everywhere and everything at once. Since you are
Yeah.
in the middle of the water, sort of suspended above some surface, you can also see below you. So I imagine that it's fairly trippy.
Yeah, I think last time we did this, you described it as my perspective essentially becomes a massive panorama.
Hmm. Right. And so you suffer. You don't suffer any penalties for distance for seeing things. I'll say that you can. The distance of it within your normal perception can go all the way down to sort of the uh,
Mhm.
coast floor here, but you do suffer penalties for light, which makes it slightly difficult to see past sort of the upper reaches of the uh,
Mhm.
upper sort of strata of the water. The potency of the spell is 1, so it does reduce penalties due to light by 1, so you can see sort of the bottom of the seafloor in these like blurry, like sort of obscured, fuzzy shapes rather than like the crystal clarity of everything that's well lit. But you do see that sort of cylindrical shape at the bottom of the seafloor. And now that you're here again in better lighting, give me a wits plus composure roll.
All right.
Which, reminder, you do suffer
Yep,
from the myopic condition at the moment.
that is correct.
Okay,
Nope.
failure. Would you like to make that a dramatic failure?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. So you failed a perception roll. We'll say that that resolves your resolves your condition. Go ahead and take a beat for that.
All right.
I
It's
forget what
an
you
art.
gave it. Okay, yeah,
It's an arcane beat because that was the dramatic failure for the co-location last time.
gotcha. Okay, cool. So you can't really make out any details out of the other than sort of the gross shape of this like small warehouse-sized like canister of steel. It appears to be like white, covered over with some amount of like algae in patina across it. Not a ton, indicating that it would have been here for an extremely long time, but it wasn't installed yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
Okay. Now let's go for that co-location.
Okay, cool. This is a sensory range spell, so you will not need to cast sympathetically or use an additional reach for remote casting or anything like that.
Yeah. Although I am technically one spell over my control limit because of the ward back at the sanctum.
It's true.
Yeah. So yeah,
Has it been a week on that?
I
We'll say
don't
it's at.
remember.
We'll say that's like near the end of the week, so this is probably the last day.
Sure, that works.
Okay. But yeah, so here you
Okay.
have outward and inward eye. I'll just add that to your active spells with the button.
Thanks.
Okay. So where exactly are you co-locating to,
So yeah,
relative to what you can see?
I'm gonna. Mm-hmm. No, I can't actually just teleport behind wherever the wall is, can I?
Correct. You cannot see through it.
Okay then. Oh, and this is gonna be a bit tense. Well then.
So, like, are you gonna try to put the co-locate portal like above the length of it on like one of the like ends of the cylinder, like
Okay.
underneath it?
Well,
Yeah,
assuming I can't see any sort of doorway on the top of it, uh,
you cannot
I'm
make
going to.
out that level of detail.
Well, no. Yeah, okay. I think I will put it. I think I will put the shall we say, point of contact near near the wall of the cylinder.
Okay. Like the sort of
Mhm.
curved wall or one of the end caps?
Uh, the the vertical circular wall.
Okay, cool. And how big are you making this co-locate?
Well, I'm not sacrificing any more dice for scales, so it's just a sphere about an arm's reach in radius.
Okay. Which means that in order to get back up to the surface, without doing the old-fashioned way, you'll need to return to that same point.
Correct. But luckily, I can actually see where I'm going there. Okay. So let's see here.
But to clarify, you still will have penalties for darkness while you're down there, specifically a -1 penalty to vision. Normally it would be a -2, but your outward inward eye reduces that by potency, so just -1.
Yep. Okay. Okay, here it goes. I'm going to spend willpower on this.
Right? Are we rolling paradox?
Yes, I will have 3 paradox dice.
Okay. Are you releasing or containing it?
I will contain, and also I will spend, I think, 1 mana.
Okay. Are you doing anything else to reduce it using your dedicated magical tool? What
Uh,
yantras are we using?
no. The yantras are my shadow name and speaking in high speech.
Okay.
So here
This
comes the
leads into the
paradox.
shadow name, so seems good.
Yep, yep. Here comes the paradox.
No paradox.
0. Okay. And here comes the spell roll. Not enough mana. What? Guess when I had mana.
Um, maybe.
I'm gonna check my character sheet. My character sheet back up. Let's see here. Oh, I am actually out of mana.
Well, we can say that you oblated before this, so you can
Okay.
take however long that was to add back 2 mana.
Okay,
You
yeah.
could have also done scouring, but that is up to you.
I don't think I need the disadvantage of having recently scoured.
Okay, so you have 2 mana then.
Yes. Uh, Scratch that. 1 mana because darn it.
Well, didn't it already? Whatever. Yeah, sure.
Uh, no, actually.
We'll just roll with
Uh,
it.
yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
All right. Anyway, go ahead and roll the spell. No paradox to contend with absorbing, and no penalties.
Here we go.
Nice. Um,
3 successes.
huh.
I've not taken the time to make this a praxis yet, so that's not exceptional.
It looks like it rolled paradox included with it. Weird.
I accidentally closed the uh, improvised spell tab, so that's factoring in.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool, cool. This is not a praxis, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So normal success. You form the imago, and you sort of merge the space in the middle of this dinghy above your seat with the location, just sort of. I'm imagining it like just sort of off the seafloor, next to the cylindrical wall of this like small warehouse-sized cylinder.
Gonna put on some simple goggles that Lucas probably has in his closet or something.
Okay, cool. Is he like? Are you like going through in your sweater? Do you have like a wetsuit on underneath? Like I'll say that that's like something which you could have gotten a hold of, like even without the actual like life support oxygen tank scuba equipment.
Yeah, that's probably the safest way to go about it.
Okay, cool. So you strip down to your wetsuit underneath your clothes, and then you sort of push yourself through the space, and suddenly you are in the dark, murky water
Okay.
of the bottom of the Nova Secundus coastline, standing next to a large, a very large white beige colored cylinder. And now that you are at this distance, like right up close to it, I'll say that you can make out some more detail, and you can see that there's bolts all over it to close it up, make it watertight, and the symbol of TAC Tech is emblazoned um, over the side of it, albeit covered over partially with a patina of algae.
Right. Gonna start searching with my super 360 degrees vision
Mm-hmm.
for some kind of opening.
Sure. On the uh, westward side, we'll say, of the cylinder, you see that there is a hatch of some sort that's sort of at, like, just off seafloor level at the bottom of one of the flat end cap, or not flat, like rounded end cap sides of the cylinder. It has, the
All right.
circular. It has like a padlock on it, and it has a circular handle to twist it open and that sort of jazz. Given how tightly it is sealed, you cannot see through it with your outward-inward eye because there's no gap to sort of wend through, which indicates to you that it must be watertight.
All right. Huh. Well, let's see here. Hmm. Well, let's see. Since this is, let me see. Let me just sort out my.
Okay, and now that you're down in the water, I will say that the environmental conditions down here at the bottom have increased up to extreme environment 2, but again, you have equipment to mitigate that down to level 1. Um, so you
Mm-hmm.
will last, or it will be sort of normal amount of time before you start feeling the extreme environment due to your equipment.
Well, there is a spell that will allow me to,
It's true.
yeah, allow me to get through. I think you might be talking about the by using maybe forces to insulate myself, but
Environmental shield, yeah. But
yeah,
I mean, you are full on spell control at the moment, so it's up to you on whether you want
yes.
to.
However, I was actually thinking of a spell that could get me past this locked door.
Mhm.
Yes, it is called Break
Break
Boundary.
boundaries. Yep.
uh, yeah, you probably planned all this, didn't you? Right, so. Right, so I'm going to need to make use of the one reach effect for this particular spell. Since this isn't a space that I can fit through normally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And obviously I can't speak in high speech while holding my breath.
Um, so the reach effect I don't know if is necessary. Lucas would know. So, break boundary essentially allows you to break through something which is imposing your path. So, it allows you to essentially treat the passageway or opening as if there were no door in front of it. If there were no door there, Lucas would be able to pass through it easily. It's a 5 foot radius hatch. It's person sized. I don't know if I like specifically said how big it was. So my bad on
Well,
that. But
it would obviously be big enough for a person to fit in.
yeah, but if the opening were actually like hamster sized, then he would need that +1 reach effect to fit through it.
Okay. All right. As a matter of fact, it seems like yeah, from the looks of it, I might not actually have any paradox.
Including your other active spells. This will be a +2, or rather, you'll require 2 additional reaches to cast the spell, assuming that you have Collocate, Outward Inward Eye, and Ward still up.
Yeah, I need to add collocation to active spells. I'll just leave that there. So yeah.
You can press the button above your spell
Ah,
in
there
the
it is.
feed to add to active spells.
Right.
Space.
Yep.
Yep, cool.
There we go. Okay. So that's going to be 2 paradox here.
Okay, mitigating it
So,
anyway.
I can't really.
Okay, cool.
Well, although actually, I think I'll incorporate my dedicated tool
Uh, okay, cool.
if I
I'll
if
assume
at all
that you
possible.
like you have your necklace on over your wetsuit. Did you bring any other yantras down there with you,
Hmm.
or physical yantras?
Let's see here. Well, most of the ones I could make use of aren't actually that powerful. So probably not.
Okay, cool. So
And
what
mage
was your
never leaves home without their dedicated tool.
right? Okay, so what are we including in this? Your dedicated tool and what else? Anything?
Persona.
Okay, I assume not high speech because you are presently holding your breath.
That's correct. I mentioned that earlier.
Um,
hmm
though I could,
So
yeah.
that's that's going to be chance die for paradox. I've incorporated the fact that I've made a previous paradox roll. I will contain any paradox thereof.
Okay.
And here we go. Bugger all. And here
All right.
comes the spell.
Yep.
2
Nice. Cool.
successes.
That's enough. Okay, cool. So casting time, 1 turn. You took 2 turns to do that. I don't know what the breath holding rules are, but thus far, um, you have been there for, we'll say, approximately like 10 to 15 seconds, so it's getting iffy. But you cast Break Boundary, touching onto this hatch in the side of the canister, and in a flash, you are through it on the other side, almost like, yeah, you just like appear immediately on the other side of it, and probably, take a bit of a gasp. And fill your lungs up with the cold, utterly stale air. It is completely dark inside. Feeling your hands around, you find yourself in a like small. It feels like a small chamber, like that's like
Okay.
human size with plus like arms reach. It feels like you're surrounded by metal, maybe a
Okay.
ladder, but you cannot see.
Okay. Flick on flashlight.
Okay. Yeah, you can. We'll say you can have a waterproof one. Those are cheap these days.
Yeah.
Flick it on. You look around. You see obviously behind you the hatch of the door, which you had just passed through, still sealed tight. And in front of you, you see another hatch, which looks equally watertight. It has the same uh,
Okay. Yeah. So this
keyhole.
is an.
This
Okay.
is
So yeah, this
this
is
is an
an
airlock
airlock.
door,
Yeah.
and you probably can spot controls for draining water out of the chamber, etc.
Okay. Swanky. Well, hopefully the interior door is not going to be locked. So let's see if we can get that open.
Yep. Give me a uh yeah, just give me a strength plus stamina roll. As you sort of heave yourself against this large and slightly stuck inner door.
Both of which are very good for Lucas.
You're average.
Yeah. Here we go.
No success. Would you like to make
Yeah.
this a dramatic failure?
Uh, I'd rather not pull something, thank you.
Okay, fine. It takes you a little bit. Like you manage to get the door open after a lot of heaving and straining and huffing and puffing, but it takes you a lot longer than you'd like down at these like super cold temperatures at the bottom of the sea. It's very obvious that there's no insulation in this airlock, and based on what you saw from the outside, you're not sure if the inside has anything else to offer. So I'll say it probably takes you like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 of straining, and take a point of bash. Well, I'll actually roll for it. Ooh, yeah, take 2 points of bashing damage from like
Yeah.
cutting your hands open on it and exhausting yourself.
Ah.
But you get it open, and as like the squeak of the thing open or echoes through this tiny claustrophobic cavern, not cavern chamber, you manage to push open the airlock with a rush of compressed air blasting over you, and climb in through the hatch, flicking your flashlight beam around. You see yourself surrounded by racks, like big floor to ceiling racks containing equipment with blinking lights, boxes, connected by cables to each other, all in otherwise complete and total darkness. No lights in here, no people, and it looks like this is a warehouse-sized underwater server farm, like just racks and racks of servers.
Holy. Oh. This is going to be interesting.
Um, and reminder that you did see the. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it, but you saw the uh, logo outside, which indicates to you that this is probably a server farm for, or an underwater server farm for the
Tactic.
TAC like commercial cloud computing product. Like I don't know, there's probably like e-commerce services and other B2B websites and other things
This
that are
is
all like running their compute
putting
through this farm.
putting your server farm underwater. That is
It is
that's
like
some security.
well, Lucas would know that it's like some becoming more of a thing in the real world. It is good because it saves a ton on cooling because cooling is like the biggest expense for IRL server farms. But if you put it underwater,
Holy
then you, you get free cooling, and also the temperature stays like the same year round. So
free water.
he's probably read about this in magazines and blogs related
Well,
to computer stuff. But
oh
yeah, so
yes.
you
Well,
find yourself inside.
yeah. Well, Paul did not know that was a thing, which is awesome.
So, flicking your flashlight beam around, you find that there's sort of a like
All right.
slightly raised catwalk. Not catwalk, but there's like a bit of a floor that like runs along just the bottom of the cylinder that's towards the floor side, so that you can like actually walk instead of trying to like stumble around in you know a cylinder. And
Okay.
it
So
clangs with this loud, horrible echo as he drops onto it, reverberating back and forth through the sealed metal container.
okay. So having read about these things online, I think one of my concerns here is actually running out of oxygen
Yeah,
because
I
this is a
mean,
sealed chamber underground.
it's true. So given the size of it, you know that you're not in any danger, like right now, of suffocating. Like, if this thing were the size of, I don't know, like the size of 100 square foot small room, Paul would know that he's got like 4 to 10 minutes worth of air. But given the like small warehouse size of this and the fact that he's the only person in here, you're not too worried about suffocation. I
Okay.
probably should have made you roll some knowledge thing about that, but whatever.
It, it's fine.
But yeah, so
Uh,
what are you gonna
Okay.
do now? You find,
Well,
or
the hacker man senses are tinkling. Let's see. Let's hack in.
okay,
Let's
cool.
check in. See if there's some sort of access term. Maybe there's some kind of access terminal, or failing that, just somewhere you can plug in a device like a tablet.
Sure. Give me a wits plus investigation roll to search out this place and look for what you're looking for. I'll give you a +1 because you know what you're looking for generally.
There's investigation. Okay. I will spend willpower on this. Right.
Down to 1 willpower. Paul's feeling tired.
Yeah. Well, Lucas is.
Or yeah, Lucas.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cool. So you search around. You walk between the servers, flicking your flashlight around. You know that for any of these, you probably could like yank it out and do some forensics if you like brought it back to access with another machine, like plugged it up to your computer. But not very useful given the lack of screen without other capabilities added through some means. But or you walk basically the length of the like half the length of the warehouse or of the cylinder, and you find sort of against one of the round walls midway through it a area with some tables with like bolted down chairs, and one of the walls has a a machine with a monitor and keyboard attached to it, which makes you think that this is something for use by humans rather than just a server machine.
Awesome. So this is where
And
the
yeah,
so this is where the technicians go to check check
exactly.
out the internals.
Yeah, you'd
Right.
imagine. And on the wall above this, there's like a uh, there wouldn't be a cork board, but on the wall there is uh, a stuffed elephant hanging by a little thread in its or by a like loop in its back from the wall, sort of attached there with nails and strings, and it's got like T-shirt on it that has the symbol of Tactec on it, and from just being a person in this world, you recognize that as Packy the Tachyderm, the cartoonish symbol of Tactec.
Sort of. Okay, so yeah, that's like the mascot that you see on the webpage. Well, that's hilarious. Okay, let's stretch the fingers out and get typing.
Okay, you power on the workstation. I'll say that this search probably have been making note of this. We'll say that it's been approximately 30 minutes so far. 30 more, and environmental conditions may start to take effect. It was a long walk. Um, okay, so you power it on. Credentials screen pops up, and it asks for you to swipe your smart key badge or enter in a password as backup, with the Tac logo blinking back at you from the monitor.
Okay. So before we get too heavily into this, I'm gonna see if there's any sort of. I'm gonna see if there's any sort of like climate control for this sort of zone.
Sure. I'll just tell you straight up that there isn't. There's
All
no
right.
like heating system built into the
All right.
walls. No like heating elements or thermostat or anything.
Yeah, but
This is very
surely the
clearly.
servers would be, keeping me warm as well.
Mm, um, yeah. This is very clearly not a place meant for humans to habitate for long periods of time, much to your
True.
chagrin.
True. Much to my sadness. Okay. Okay.
So how do you go about this? Do you start trying to like just break into it through the OS? Do you have some other tricks that you want to pull?
Well, to spoof the smart key, we might make use of some magic.
Forces
Hmm.
magic would certainly allow you to create a signal or trigger the key prep card to send a signal. But what to send as that signal is the question.
Right.
Because IRL, a keypad like transmits a message to the hosting or to the attached machine based on the input it gets from a valid key card, and that represents correct credentials. So just activating the key card, like using magic, like making it do its thing, you could make it or send like a random like batch of ones and zeros, which probably wouldn't be a valid credential unless you I don't know, had conjunctional fate to combine it with lucky number, for example.
That's true, and I'm nowhere near that powerful just yet. Okay. Gonna have to do it the Muggle way then.
Mm-hmm. Um,
So let's hackerman it up.
okay. Go ahead and we'll make this an extended action. Time per roll will be 10 minutes. Give me, or the dice pool for this will be intelligence plus computers. You have a hacking specialty, so that will raise the die pool to 7. We will subtract. Uh, what will we subtract for the strength of these defenses? I'll say -3 because I mean this
Oof.
this is Penrose. Well, yeah, -3.
Okay.
And that gives you a total dice pool of 4, not counting
Yep.
willpower.
7 minus 3 is 4.
Okay.
Whew.
Actually, no, because this is an extended action. The difficulty is counted in the number of successes. So
Yeah.
we'll keep your dice pool, and I'll just increase the number of successes I require in my head.
Okay.
So you have 7 rolls.
Okay. Here we go. First roll. Okay, that was a false start.
Not off to a good start so far.
Uh,
So you can abort, or you can take a condition and continue. What would you like to do?
well, I mean, this is the very first roll. I don't think there's going to be too many consequences for aborting.
Um, do. You can try again at a later point per the system, but it's not super clear what the later like how later the point is or what needs to change. Let me do fallen laws, rolling dice, actions, extended actions. Um, abandon the action. Yeah, we will say that if you choose to abandon at this point, it'll take you another like 10 minutes, like just like psyching yourself back up and collecting yourself after like the failure rattles your confidence in yourself. So this has been 10 minutes for the attempt, which has proved fruitless of trying to do some exploits that you know of in the commercial OS that evidently have been hacked or evidently were patched, much to your disappointment. So that would be if you decide to abandon now, up to so 30 plus 10 plus 10 would be 50. So you're approaching on the threshold for your first environmental effect. Would you like to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you step back from the workstation. You slap your face a little bit, maybe like pace a bit, and then you come back to it after a few minutes. So we will consider this resetting the pool.
I don't suppose. I don't suppose Packy has any secrets on his under his t-shirt.
Um, give me a wits plus investigation roll.
All right. It was just a little joke anyway.
All right. You look over Pappy, but you don't see very much after you like flip him around a little bit because you don't
Yeah,
really.
no. Yeah, no spare key cards fall out or anything. No.
No sticky
Uh.
notes with the admin passwords. But okay, so you return back to the task and you start over again. You have 7 dice, which means 7 rolls to achieve a number of successes. 10 minutes per roll.
Okay. Here we. Okay, yeah, here we go. Spending willpower on this first roll.
All right, strong. Better start.
Yeah.
2 successes. Cool. Go ahead and keep rolling.
Okay.
Slightly slightly, losing steam a little bit, but still making progress. So after that last roll, we passed the 1 hour mark for you being down here in these conditions. So take a point of bashing damage. And you can continue.
Okay, that's done. 6, 5, 4 successes. That's very good.
Ooh, nice.
I might have to write that. I might have to write that exploit down.
Okay, cool. That brings you up to 7 successes. Go ahead and keep rolling.
Okay. So. Again, I think I'm onto something.
Nice. That is to do 11 successes. Go ahead and keep going.
Okay. I found something that works, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, 3 successes. You managed to, you access the system. You managed to, figure out an exploit through the OS that they hadn't patched, which allows you to bypass the screen or bypass the whatever, create an admin user, insert yourself into the system. And after that last roll of navigating through firewalls and permissions and like dealing with all of the bullshit that the computer security throws at you, you manage to get full access to the system. You have access to the servers themselves, like controlling the inflow and outflow of the clusters. Probably controlled using Kubernetes or whatever the hell. Like you could reconfigure them or extract data from either the servers themselves or the terminal itself. What exactly do you want to get out of this?
Okay.
Reminder that the initiation requires that you extract or break into somewhere that you are not supposed to be and bring something out to prove it. What are you looking to extract?
Let's see. I'm going to run a search for what? I'm going to run a search for Giannis.
Okay. Not going to make you. Well, let's see. What are we at? At this point, we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Go ahead and give me another intelligence plus computers roll. It's not like there's like a Google built into the computer, so there's like some finagling with the tools and figuring out what they have.
Okay. Can't just control F or use the file search things you have on most OS.
Nope. I mean,
come on.
So if you wanted to search the files stored locally on this computer, then yeah, you could do that. But this is just a controller for the servers themselves.
Fair enough.
So there's not very much here aside from the porn folder, which you find immediately even without successes. But otherwise, I'll say that you do manage to do what you think is a fairly comprehensive search. It takes a while, however, and you don't find anything matching the keyword Giannis aside from, I don't know, there's probably the University of Connecticut has one of their digital libraries on the server, and there's some articles on Greek gods, something like that. Nothing that looks terribly pertinent towards Penrose, or rather the Penrose Division Yanis. You get the sense. No, with a failure, I'll just say that you get that. And we are at 2 hours, so take another point of bashing damage. Which puts you into your first wound penalty box.
Yep. Not fun. Okay. Let's go for one more search. I'm just looking for.
So I will tell you that you know I will tell you out of character that Lucas knows that like he just needs to get something that shows he's in here. Like he could grab some
Yeah,
metadata from the terminal, like on what's in the like just sort of a manifest like of the list of names of the servers, something that
yeah.
like obviously wouldn't be accessible except from the inside, and it would be trivial for him to get that at this point.
Okay, yeah. He's probably thinking, I don't have time. I'm gonna have oxygen. It's cold, and I just want to get out.
Okay, cool. It's I'm not gonna make you. Well, I mean, you have one penalties now, so it's kind of dramatic. So give me one last intelligence plus computers check, and you get it. Well, uh, you didn't
Oh, it
take
doesn't.
you didn't take the -1 from the wound penalty, which I guess it doesn't.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't do that automatically.
Interesting.
Oh well.
Whatever.
I'll
I'll give
note
it
for the
to you
future.
anyway. Yeah. So you find what you're looking for. You manage to extract the data out. How exactly do you extract the data out? Like in what format? Do you try to like plug in a USB? Do you try to like send it wirelessly somehow? Do you try to send it over the internet?
Uh, let's see here. Well, sending it over the internet would be somewhat traceable. I'm just going to zip it up and put it into a USB stick.
Okay. Give me a wits plus computers roll.
Okay.
This time taking account of the your like chattering teeth and
Yes.
fatigued mind.
Yep. Pushing all the buttons I shouldn't. I accidentally left Foundry.
Rip.
1 minute.
Welcome back.
Okay. Wits plus computers, right?
Yes. -1 from the dice penalty.
Yep.
Lucas would know that company like big enterprise companies will often track, if not outright disable, USB like connect ports into their computers because that's
Okay.
a pretty prime way of extracting out data.
Ah, true.
Um,
That's
you know,
that's why I
trying
thought.
trying to plug it in, you note that the drive pops up. It's not disabled, but you also don't necessarily know what that might have triggered.
Hmm.
But if you decide to persist in doing it, then you just aware that someone might be alerted about the fact that a USB stick was inserted, and you just go on about your day. What do you choose to do?
Well, it's already been done, so I'm committed now.
Okay, cool. It's fairly trivial to extract out the manifest, export it, and you pull out the USB stick in Triumph, and then probably like put it back into its plastic baggie or into the wet bag I imagine that you have on your back.
Yeah. Yep. Everything's all packed up. Time to head back to the airlock and GTFO.
Okay, cool. We are just over 2 hours, so I'm going to say that you can get out relatively quickly. What? So how do you get out? Like, what state of things do you leave it in?
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna try and do as good a job I can at scrubbing my traces for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna. Then that's essentially a deadline. I'm gonna be uh, trying to get back out through the same way I got in.
Okay. Um, do you close the inner door behind you?
Obviously.
Okay, cool. In a door closed behind you, go ahead and try to cast for break boundaries.
Here we go.
Remember that wound penalties apply to spellcasting rolls.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Two paradox rolls. The same. I have. My spells there. Yep. I've already made two paradox rolls. The scene. All right.
And Lucas probably doesn't want to spend the 3 hours down here ritual casting.
No. No. Yeah, that's a good way to asphyxiate. Okay. I'm going to. I can't really afford that. Okay, so I'm going to have to use my dedicated tool this time, just to minimize the paradox. And here we go. That's one paradox die I will contain.
Okay.
Nothing.
No paradox. Yep, go ahead and cast your spell.
Here we go.
Ooh, close
Yes.
to exceptional success, but no cigar. Potency 3. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. You just get 3
It's
potency. Anyway,
yeah.
so you put your hand uh, on the door. You sort of, I don't know, like I'm envisioning your imago being at like a sort of Tron style, turning into colored cubes and like rolling outward. And suddenly you find yourself on the other
Yeah.
side of the door in the still quite freezing water. But you know that spell took you know almost no time at all, like 6 seconds to add the 2 yantras, and you find yourself back in the water. Considerably, I mean, you went at like 1 p.m., so it's still quite like bright out up on the surface, and it's relatively easy for you to swim back over to the co-locate and zip yourself back up to the boat, where you have a nice, chilly, wet, or you flop out wet and chilly onto the seat of the boat, sort of gasping from holding your breath, but with your booty, so to speak, in the bag. And just
All right.
for dramatic effect, we'll say that when you, or by the time you successfully get back to shore, you'll have taken your another point of bashing damage, putting you at the like one health box still open. So we can envision you like stumbling into the sanctum, like shattering and cold and like blue lipped, while everyone else is sitting around eating salads from the sweet grin and laughing.
Yeah. I'm gonna collapse on the couch, and we can have him wake up from that
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah. Well, so we'll finish up sort of the rest of this initiation now, but in an abridged fashion. You send off what you found to the email address, and at that point, you receive an email directly from Network this time, giving you instructions. Well, congratulating you, and in sort of much less esoteric terms than the like trail of breadcrumbs that you've been following up till now. They tell you to meet them in the astral at the sort of like astral like domain of candle making, we'll say. And
That's
when you
okay.
arrive there, Network sort of appears in their like in the guise of this like sort of Cortana esque like you know blue light avatar with like little video screens appearing like alternately like around their head, almost like little scry windows. And I think this is probably the first time you've seen Network's like astral form. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I mean,
Well, we've said that they may have had contact in dreams before.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you like know what she looks like, or at least
They.
what, yeah. Um, well, Cortana presents as very feminine, but that
Yeah.
like representation may not be, their actual meat space body.
Yeah.
But so
I'm
you
much
meet
aware of
up,
that.
yeah, you meet up with Network. Congratulate you on your sort of success. They help you examine or rather, they examine the manifest with you and like sort of virtually high five over having like this cool data from Tech, and you are able to spend XP on the first attainment for your legacy.
Huzzah! Unfortunately, I don't have any XP spare at the moment.
Okay, well, you can when you do. Though
Yes.
it doesn't. Yeah, that's true.
I've officially joined the legacy at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I mean, at this point, we'll say like you joined your legacy. You saw something cool and you used like magic to infiltrate a place for the first time. So between those and the end of the or like just participating for the session, we'll give you a regular beat and two arcane beats. Um, Now for aspirations, you've found someone from the leaderboard, which was Network, it turns out.
Surprise. Surprise, surprise.
And I don't know if it counts as like a secret, but you like infiltrated into, the computer systems of a Penrose
Yeah.
subsidiary. So we'll count
Well,
that
yeah.
as two
Yeah.
regular beats.
I'll take it.
Okay.
After all, this is the purpose I was trying to steal a secret for anyway.
Yep. All right. Cool. So we will end it there. I will close out the recording.